The terminal buzzed with pre-flight energy, families wrangling kids, business travelers glued to phones. I was heading from Gatwick to Naples, July 2nd, 2025, on EasyJet 6074. Just another flight, or so we thought. The line crawled forward, relief palpable as boarding was called. We shuffled down the jet bridge, jet fuel scent signaling adventure or exhaustion. The flight attendants in orange-trimmed uniforms greeted us with calm efficiency. I found my window seat, 14A, stowed my bag, buckled up. The cabin filled with clicks, rustles, and quiet conversations. The safety demo played out, mostly ignored. But tonight, those instructions would matter. Around me, a young couple, a grandfather explaining the wing to his grandson. Students with backpacks, solo travelers like me. Strangers packed together, about to share something unforgettable. The mood was light, unremarkable. The last passengers hurried aboard, bins slammed shut, doors sealed. The captain's voice came over the intercom, smooth, reassuring, weather in Naples clear, standard procedure, nothing unusual. As we pushed back, I leaned against the window, watching the ground crew wave us off. The gentle rumble as we taxied toward the runway felt routine. I glanced around. No one suspected what was coming. The world outside faded as the engines spooled up. We were ready for takeoff, unaware of the night ahead. The hum of anticipation was almost comforting. I closed my eyes for a moment, letting the reality of travel settle in. Just another flight, I told myself, but fate had other plans. And so, EasyJet 6074 began its journey into the unknown. Takeoff was smooth, engines roaring, pressing us into our seats. London's lights became a glittering carpet below as we climbed through clouds. Soon we were above it all, sailing in a dark blue sky under stars. The seatbelt sign pinged off, a collective relaxation spread. The crew began service, trolley clattering down the aisle. I ordered coffee, stared out at the moonlit wing. Below, the world was a patchwork of darkness and distant lights. The cabin was peaceful, passengers lost in books, movies, or sleep. The young couple shared headphones, the grandfather and grandson slept. We were a quiet universe, hurtling through the night. Suspended between 2 points, we trusted the system. The flight was about an hour in, likely over the Alps. Coffee hot, engine hum steady, everything as it should be. I marveled at the comfort, the faith we place in technology. We assume it will all work because it almost always does. The world outside was serene, the cabin calm. Then, in an instant, everything changed. The normalcy shattered. A jolt of fear replaced routine. The extraordinary had arrived, and we were unprepared. Without warning, the cabin plunged into absolute blackness. The hum of engines, air conditioning, and screens all gone. Silence, broken only by wind rushing past the fuselage. A collective gasp swept through the cabin. My heart pounded. Were we falling? The darkness was disorienting, panic bubbling up. A baby cried, a man shouted, "What's happening?" Fear spread like a cold wave. Was it a catastrophic failure? Terrorism? The unknown was terrifying. The plane still moved, but the silence was unnatural. Were we now a powerless glider, thousands of feet up? The person next to me sobbed quietly. We were alone in the dark together. Then a low rumble began. The plane vibrated, not turbulence, but something deeper. The darkness pressed in, every sound magnified. We waited, suspended in fear, dreading what would come next. The sense of helplessness was overwhelming. Every second stretched into eternity. We braced for whatever was coming. Just as panic threatened to take over, the captain's voice cut through the darkness. Calm but firm, he spoke through the emergency system. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking." Relief washed over us. Someone was in control. He explained, "Complete electrical failure, both engines out, crew working on a restart." We were flying on backup battery power. He gave us facts, not false hope. "We are in a glide," he said, sharing our altitude and position. The aircraft could be landed without engine power, though it was rare. His authority steadied us, his composure became ours. The captain promised updates, and he kept his word. Every few minutes his voice returned. "Attempting manual engine restart, unsuccessful, moving to backup procedures." His steady narration kept chaos at bay. He wasn't just flying a plane, he was leading us through our darkest hour. Information became our lifeline. The fear didn't vanish, but it became manageable. We clung to his voice, our anchor in the void. The crew listened, ready to act. The passengers waited, hope flickering in the dark. The captain's calm was contagious. We trusted him because we had no choice. In that moment, leadership mattered more than ever. The crisis was real, but so was our resolve. We prepared for whatever came next. The cabin crew became our guides in the darkness. Emergency strip lighting flickered on, casting an eerie green glow. The crew moved with purpose, voices calm but insistent. "Stay seated, fasten seatbelts." They checked on every passenger, offering comfort. They managed panic attacks, reassured the crying, and prepared us for emergency landing. Instructions were clear: remove sharp objects, stow belongings, brace position. Heads down, hands over your head. Their authority was absolute. Amid strict procedures, they showed compassion. A flight attendant comforted a terrified boy, giving him a wing pin. The crew turned frightened individuals into a prepared unit. They were more than attendants, they were leaders, caregivers, and our lifeline. Their composure kept us focused. In the darkness, their humanity shone brightest. As the crew worked, a strange sense of community formed. Strangers spoke in hushed, comforting tones. "Are you okay?" "I think so. You?" The darkness amplified every sound, every fear. I thought of family, regrets, what truly mattered. Life's trivial worries melted away. Outside, stars shone cold and indifferent. Below, the Alps loomed. The thought of landing there was terrifying. We drew strength from the captain, crew, and each other. Some prayed softly, others sat in silent reflection. The young couple held each other, no longer distracted. In that suspended cabin, we were vulnerable, afraid, but resilient. We faced the unknown together. In the cockpit, training met reality. The Airbus A320 was now a powerless glider, digital displays dark. Only a few battery-powered instruments remained. The first officer declared a mayday, struggling to reach air traffic control. The captain focused on maintaining glide speed, a delicate balance. They methodically tried to restart the engines, suspecting a fuel system failure. Each attempt failed. The ground drew closer. They searched for a place to land, choosing line as the best option. Calculations were done by hand, no computers, just skill and instinct. The pressure was immense, but training took over. Every decision mattered. The fate of 180 people rested on their expertise. It was pure, old-fashioned aviation. After an eternity, the captain's voice returned, this time with hope. "We've been unable to restart the engines, but we're cleared for an emergency landing at Lyon." Relief rippled through the cabin, a destination, a chance. The crew made final checks, everyone in brace position. "Brace for impact, brace!" echoed through the cabin. We tucked our heads down, the world shrinking to darkness and breath. The descent was eerily quiet, only wind and creaking metal. I risked a glance, lion's lights spread below, the runway a beacon. The captain had one shot, no second chances. Flaps and landing gear extended with a noisy, gravity-based system. The final moments were tense, the plane shuddering. We were a silent shadow, gliding toward salvation. Every second felt endless. The runway lights grew closer, hope and fear mingling. The crew's voices kept us focused. We braced for the unknown. The city below waited, unaware of our silent approach. We prepared for impact, hearts pounding. The tires hit the tarmac, a jarring thud, but the most beautiful sound. Cheers erupted, relief and joy overwhelming. We were alive. The plane slowed, surrounded by emergency vehicles. Cabin doors opened, fresh night air flooding in. We slid down emergency slides, surreal and grateful. On the tarmac, wrapped in blankets, we looked back at the silent aircraft, our prison and savior. In the terminal, we shared food, water, and stories. The young couple planned to get engaged. The grandfather's grandson boasted of flying a glider. We were no longer strangers, we were survivors. EasyJet 6074 had changed us. I learned about fear, courage, and the strength of strangers. The pilot's skill, the crew's composure, the passenger's resilience all saved us. Flying is no longer routine, I remember that night every time. It's a lesson in humility and a testament to the human spirit.